Mhm. And in your book, you also shared some personal and dark stories about yourself. Um, Curious to know, like, what moved you to write this book in most honest way? Because usually autobiographies, they explain beautiful stories, but you were sharing it differently, I would say.
Well, I think it's because most books and teachers are trying to, they're basically trying to attract, educate, and to some extent, if they're honest, to educate people. That's what good marketing does, to find out what their needs are and then to share with them what they have to offer as a solution. And what's usually lacking in presentations of yoga is the fact that the word yoga has become a homograph. So it has many different meanings. And in the West, it's been adapted to the needs of Western culture and people's personal needs, which is to look good, to be energized, to perhaps manage their stress, right? And mostly, therefore, just physical. We live in a culture which is competitive, and it's all about performance and consumerism, materialism. So I went through that whole Western culture, materialistic thing when I was very young, going to school in Europe and being involved with people there. And when I came back from Europe in 1968, I realized that I wasn't going to be satisfied with that kind of approach in life. And it was a countercultural period for most of my peers with the Vietnam War. So I became interested in spirituality and yoga and different forms. And then when I read the autobiography of a yogi, I decided to get involved in that. Later, when I met my teacher, Yogi Ramaya, I decided to engage myself completely. And in the first few years, there was the normal human, might say, resistance that came up. And because you might say, the practice, the yoga which he was teaching was not simply a body-oriented kind of yoga that you find in yoga studios. It was a much more of a traditional approach. So it required a lot of, might say, cleansing, right? Cleansing of what I had accumulated throughout my life in terms of attitudes and habits, and that required a lot of effort, right? A lot of resistance. And so 20 years later, 30 years later,